I'm Alec Balas, and this is the other guy.
Right when I was supposed to say I'm Ryan Balas, when I was supposed to just then,
Yeah.
I forgot my name entirely.
Really? For a second?
For a second, I was just like, light circles, light circles.
I have terrible stage fright.
You do?
Yeah, but it's almost secondary.
What do you mean?
know,
Secondary to what?
You know, have you ever heard of secondary embarrassment? Or
So you're embarrassed for yourself?
like you're watching someone on stage and they're bombing, say it's a
And it's
comedy
embarrassing
show,
for them.
and you feel embarrassed too.
Yeah,
Or you feel like
yeah.
secondary shame.
So what do you mean?
I feel about
Embarrassed for me? You're embarrassed for me?
No, I get stage fright for situations I'm not, like I'm in theoretical situations that I'm not in. I feel anxious about thinking about being on stage.
Yeah.
We've talked about this actually before. It's kind of funny.
I went to acting school, and I had to sing for a singing class in front of people. I was really excited. I sang a song from the musical Rent. One Song Glory, just having like one song before you die. And I bombed completely, like right out of the gate. Could not stay with the piano. I just couldn't hear it. I couldn't get it right. I was nervous. And I was already like, I am so nervous to do this, and I just want to do my best. And right away the teacher went, I'm going to fail you. Fail for the day. We ended up having like this like circle meeting with like administration and this teacher. We're like, yeah, we don't like her. Can you get rid of her? And then I think we did. Because she was a weirdo. That's a weird thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But it was like the one. So ever since then, I was like, in a way, I kind of like broke my stage fright, because I was like, all right, well, that's the worst it could go. Other than like, you know, your pee-pee falls out or something on stage, which would be worse, I think. I don't know.
You go to prison.
You could go to prison depending on the circumstances. Yeah. So that could be worse.
I think that is a perfect segue into this special bottle.
Oh, they're gonna sue you, man. It's not perfect segue according to them. It's just the perfect time to switch the subject.
So I got this bottle. I got really into painkillers for like 48 hours. Not the drugs.
Alec went on another bender.
Actually, I don't think you can say painkiller. I got really interested on a great riff off of a pina colada. Yeah. Which is a pina colada plus orange juice, basically. And then a little bit more rum.
It's supposed to kill the pain.
It kills the pain for sure. So I was drinking those, and I invited a friend over to drink them with me. And he brought this bourbon, Meta Modernity. And he was saying he picked it because of the way the bottle looked.
Yeah, sure.
Which makes a lot of sense if you don't know that much about whiskey and you're trying to explore outside the few brands.
Some guy right now in front of his whiskey collection just grabbed a bottle and threw it against the mirror. I'm not watching this dumb show. He picked a bottle based on how it looks. He like took his Bladens and he's like, I'm taking this horse that I've been collecting, putting it on the thing, and I don't get bottles for the way they look.
True.
I started like
that is like the first. Yeah, you go for like 30 minutes.
I'm like, my name is Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I don't pick bottles unless they're Blatons for the way they look.
Well, that's kind of the first.
I'm 37 years old. I'm born in Syracuse, Indiana, a small town in Indiana, and the last thing I do is pick bottles for the way they look.
You're freaking fired.
My wife, Helen, doesn't even know I have a drinking problem.
Oh, man, you're fired.
What if I do that for the next 20 minutes? Just really riff.
No one would know except
Little Bobby sucks at kindergarten. Big fucking deal.
No one would know except you and me, because anyone in their right mind would stop watching.
I'm so sorry.
This is a bourbon whiskey. There's no age statement on it, which leads me to believe it's above young. 4 years. No, it has to be above 4 years to not have one.
Oh, really? So if it's 2 years, they have to say 2 years.
I believe that's the rule.
It's 36 months.
No, it's not. That's the
It was air dried. Oh, the barrel was air dried for 36 months.
Yeah, so
that leads me to believe that this bottle is younger than 36 months. If that's an age statement that they're putting on and not the age statement that it was in the barrel.
I don't know. I don't know. You have to say. So I'm not sure, but they're in New York as well.
So this is another New York bourbon. As some of you may already know, this season of the Whiskey Show is all about New York whiskey. We hope in other seasons we'll tackle other states. We love Kentucky bourbon, as most of you probably do as well. And we're excited about places like Texas, Tennessee, Michigan, etc. But this season, New York whiskey.
Yeah, and I just have to read this because it's all the ingredients they got are from around New York. So like Meta Modernity is made from certified organic corn, wheat, and oats. The corn and wheat is grown by their friend Thor from Lakeview Organics. Malted barley.
Shout out Thor.
While not organic, is grown in New York and malted just across the Sound at Valley Malt by Andrea Stanley. So they're getting a lot of their ingredients from New York, and it's made and aged in New York.
What I love so much about craft whiskey is like the story of craft whiskey is the story of a place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not just about the craft of making something. It is almost always the story of a place. This is exciting because it's Greenport, New York, which is Long Island. Yeah, and it's in the North Fork of Long Island on the sort of calmer, they call it the Long Island Sound, which is technically an offshoot of the Atlantic Ocean, but it's calmer than the other side where Montauk is, and the other fork, the South Fork. I don't know, the other fork. But the North Fork is just sort of like kind of like smaller towns. For Long Island, it's wine country.
Yeah, so it makes sense that whiskey would start to pop up.
Yeah, so distillers are going to pop up there for sure.
And I always get weary if I don't know them, but it says distilled and bottled by Matchbook Distilling Company, Greenport, New York. So it's really made there. So yeah. Interesting mash bill too, as you nose it.
Yeah, it's yeasty out of the gate. A little, but there's definitely like a baking spice. Like I almost smell someone cooking in a kitchen.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I initially got like a hint of yeasty or breadiness, but it almost always instantly goes away. And then on the palate, it's like not there at all. It's actually like,
that's really delightful. I get gingerbread, which I don't almost never get from whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, that's the notes here are baking spice, roasted nuts, caramel, and umami. Maybe some umami is some ginger.
Oh my God.
It's 61% dent corn, whatever that means.
Okay.
22%.
It's corn that's like falling and hitting the ground, and there's a little dent in it.
There's a dent. Yeah, I bet that's what it is.
This show is not a factual show. Our lawyers have asked you to tell you. Quick disclaimer. We're just opinions.
And then 22% soft white winter wheat, 12% malted barley, and then 5% roasted oats.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's cool that they have one of the ingredients that was my nickname in college.
Roasted oats?
No, soft white winter wheat. Wasn't very nice, Kyle. Okay, so
it's hard some of the time, winter wheat.
I gotta tell you. So on the nose, I was like, okay, yeah. It's coffee. All right.
What the fuck?
Yeah, straight up coffee. I knew you
coffee grounds at the end.
Like the finish is not very long, but it's like pure coffee grounds.
Wow,
almost like if you were getting a espresso martini, which is obviously very in vogue right now. Ooh.
That's interesting. I didn't get it the first time.
This is like hanging out at your cool friend's house around the holidays. They're making food. They're baking delicious stuff. That they learned during the pandemic how to make some great bread and some pies with some little roasted.
This is that pandemic food.
Some pandemic food, some roasted nuts and some delicious pies. Maybe it's November, and you have a little coffee. It's the middle of the day. Sun's hanging a little low in the sky. Have a little coffee. Mm-hmm. That's what this is.
Yeah. Wow.
And I gotta say, I was turned off for a long time about like the modern whiskey bottles because like a lot of bourbon people, I like the classic simple bottles. But this is cool as shit.
Yeah, I love the dip.
I think it's beautiful. I like how modern it is.
Yeah, and all their bottles are kind of done with cool. Are interesting. Maybe this is part of what's making that taste is the char levels too. So it's pretty light in the char.
I mean, that's a lot of coffee grounds.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't
almost intensely so.
Yeah, like it's very present. Like anyone could pull that out. I feel like that wasn't as a discerning drinker as we are. But wow, Yeah, there's like some tea thing, like tannins almost in there right before the coffee.
I was full blown ready to write this off. Just I hadn't tried it.
Bottle
Alec
alone.
had some, but well, not the bottle. I thought the bottle was cool actually. I was like, okay, they're probably young. It's probably whatever. This is really, really interesting. I'm excited to try more of their stuff in the future. So tell us again how you came across this bottle.
Yeah, so I invited a friend over to have some tiki drinks,
right?
And he brought this over, and he picked it because of the bottle and the price point that he wanted, and
which was about $80. 75.
I guess that's what the price this is. I was assuming maybe it was around like 50 or something.
Because he left it at your house.
Yeah, I was like, you don't just leave an $80 bottle.
Yes, you do.
Someone's house.
My feeling is if you bring a bottle, you leave a bottle.
So what you do for people like this guy is you pour half the bottle out in your decanter and then you bring it.
Yeah. This is a bottle I've been trying.
I don't know, because I feel like if you go, say you wanted to bring 4 or 5 bottles, like I'm not going to leave this bottle here.
No, if I was at a big party, I might not leave a bottle. I might take the bottle because I can get away with it. If I'm at a dinner party and it's an intimate group, I can't bring the bottle home. Who am I?
Well, you're just going to leave. Well, now they have to deal with it. What if they don't even like it?
Well, okay, if they're like, oh, I don't like this, then I would take it. But if they're like, oh, wow, thank you for bringing this, I would definitely have to leave it. I don't care what the price is. It's like, even if I brought, like, can you imagine?
Now, how privileged are you?
Yeah, no.
Just leaving bottles everywhere. Not all of us have infinite bottles. No, it depends on the scenario, of course.
That felt really, like, convicted.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't feel convicted.
You were just like this jerk.
I was like,
Just
well, leaving bottles willy-nilly.
You can afford a bottle of whiskey. Good on you.
Bottles of whiskey falling out your pant leg.
Little Tori's 12 years old, likes the shape of bottles. She doesn't pick a bottle for the way it looks. She picks a bottle for the way it tastes. She's doing bad in school. She's got a good... You stop that light. That light's making a noise.
It's our high production value.
High production. Our lights are going to start crashing down. We're the Wayne's World of whiskey shows.
It's Eric Andre whiskey show.
Yeah. Expect snakes to come out of this bottle.
I have a buzzer under the seat. That's yeah, no, this is good. Or maybe good is just a generic word. It's like...
It's interesting.
It's really interesting, and not like to cover up it being bad.
The coffee grounds taste is really fascinating.
It's a bit shocking.
It's not rubbing me the wrong way, but it is like after a while, it's the novelty of that taste wears off. Yeah. And I don't know if that's an all-night sipper for me. Yeah. Or a regular sipper even. You know, but if I'm like, ooh, I want to try something that's going to like fuck with my mouth a little.
Yeah.
No. I want to fuck with my taste buds with my little fingies. This is something like almost like let's start the night with something interesting.
Yeah, for sure. If it would be really fun to do, a tasting with this bottle and because it is really unique. I think the coffee for me is similar to when I had rye for the first time. It was just like flavors I didn't know yet. So I haven't really tasted coffee like that. Like it tastes like grounds in your mouth. Yeah. Like that intensely on the finish. Yeah. And so...
Have you ever been grounded?
Yeah. Yeah.
By our parents? We're brothers. Did we mention we're brothers? Well, you know that by now.
Oh, no.
You've never been grounded?
Not by our parents.
You've been grounded for being a bad boy by your girlfriend?
I've been a bad boy before.
What if that was something that extended into other relationships?
Like you get grounded?
Yeah, I guess you could get fired or like kicked out of work or something.
But you can't get grounded at work.
You can't get... Yeah, imagine like, Al, listen.
You're not fired.
Your reports came in and they weren't entirely accurate, so you're going to sit in the corner with your head against the wall.
Because you're grounded.
Because you're grounded today. You can't go out. You can't use your phone.
I guess if it never left my life, like it continued into adulthood and it was something that was always around, I guess I would be a big grounded boy. Yeah.
I guess jail is being grounded.
Jail is long-term grounding. It is.
Prison is like you're grounded. You fucked up. You're grounded.
If you get life sentences, it's like you're really grounded.
Yeah. But did you get grounded as a kid?
Not really.
I think our parents like tried to ground me a few times, but it didn't really like work. I feel like I negotiated my way out.
Yeah.
I also feel like it was just like, what? Okay, so now I'm bored at home. Like, what do I do? Like, just go out and play. Like, I can't. I'm grounded.
Yeah, it became more of a nuisance for them, and
Yeah.
I think they had to like give it up because it
Yeah.
ended up just sucking
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, just go outside and just get out of
Yeah.
here.
It's not that effective of an idea. You can't see your friends. And I guess now if you take away some kid's like smartphone, that might feel like you took my entire life away.
Yeah.
But that didn't. What are you going to take away from a kid who doesn't have a cell phone
If you
or
took,
an iPad or something? It's just like, I guess no TV.
where are these iPads coming from?
What do you
like
mean?
Every 5-year-old has an iPad. Where are you guys getting these iPads?
School.
I don't have
Or
an
the
iPad.
store.
They're like expensive and weird. Like
Yeah.
it's just not a computer, not a phone. Like,
Yeah. It's good for kids, and I feel like they're cheap enough that if they break.
would you give your kid an iPad?
I don't have a kid.
No.
Except little Kyle.
Except little Tori.
Little Kyle, who's not doing so good in school because he doesn't like the shape of a. I don't remember why I started the joke. I just know that I got to keep going with it.
Yeah.
You know, I just got to ride it into the night.
Right into the ground.
And right into the ground until you're like,
Into the grounded.
I got to turn this program off.
If you did have a kid,
Yeah.
would you give them an iPad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am a big believer in like if your kid is like annoying at dinner, give him something to do so that you can sit with other adults and enjoy your dinner.
Yeah, you don't
I have
think it
lots of
creates
friends.
bad habits?
No, nothing that you're going to be able to control. It's the society we live in. I also think kids are good. Like I know these kids are not even really in school yet, like proper school, who have iPads who are like practically reading already, and are like, "Oh, do you know all these facts about volcanoes?" I'm like, "How did you learn that?" Like I learned it on my iPad game.
Did you bully them and call them a dork?
No. I'm like, oh, well, at your age, I knew that like sticks were guns and we shoot at each
Yeah.
other, and I throw rocks at neighbor. Like it was like that was like that's
you
when I
weren't
learned.
even adding S's when appropriate.
No, I was.
These
Yeah, I
kids
didn't
are
even
telling
know.
you about volcanoes.
Yeah, I mean, I was like
At
not.
neighbor.
When you're a kid, it's no great. You use your imagination. These kids might not have. I don't know. Maybe they won't be so imaginative. It's like AI, right? The concern is
Just
that
gonna
like
say AI.
AI. It's like the concern is like you won't be able to. Okay, yeah, they'll score high on tests. They'll have all of the world's facts like available to them, but they won't have like what do you call it? A certain kind of critical thinking or whatever.
Yeah,
where
like that problem solving.
Yeah, because they won't be used to having to problem solve to being your own AI or your own computer.
You just ask.
I don't know much about that. I don't know if that's the case, but
All you do is ask Jeeves.
you just gotta ask. That was the thing. We had Jeeves as a kid.
Yeah,
Nobody asked
we're
Jeeves.
okay-ish.
If I remember right, anything I asked Jeeves, he's like, I don't know, go Google it.
Yeah, he would just send you to a Google site.
It's like,
How do
yeah.
you think AI could affect whiskey? Do you think there'll be any weird crossover with AI? Like, what if there was an AI whiskey?
Well, they might be able to, like, I don't know, like, could you go to AI and say, all right, is that
Are you
crazy?
hearing that bird?
There's a bird in the house. We have a light. This is what's gonna happen. It's fine. It could turn off, you know? I don't know. We are, like I said, the Wayne's World. See, I don't use the S's. We're the Wayne world of
We're the
whiskey.
Wayne world. We are the Wayne world.
You could maybe go to AI or something and say, all right, what's the perfect mash bill? Right? Because people are looking up like,
Yeah, and you could enter
what's
all the
perfect
data
recipe for pie,
Yeah.
right? And it like takes everything and says, this is the perfect recipe for pie.
Yeah.
Couldn't they do that? Is there a perfect mash bill though? Absolutely not.
No, and you know
And it
why?
doesn't matter.
Because everyone's different.
Yeah. So I don't know what applications AI. It's all right.
Everyone's different, Ryan.
I don't know what
They
application.
like different whiskeys.
They like different people, different than me.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know a practical reason for AI. I don't know. I'm sure they could use it like in the context of like manufacturing bourbon.
Yeah, the large. Yeah, I mean, imagine just no people touching anything.
I mean, AI will impact all of our lives in different ways. I don't think it's necessarily going to have like a different kind of impact on
It may have already.
whiskey or like food. Yeah, maybe the way it's made, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you.
I'm
That's the thing
sorry.
about-
I'm sorry I asked that question.
No. You shouldn't be sorry. You shouldn't be sorry. Little Kyle has got an A plus. That'd be great. Yeah. So I don't know. The more I have this, the more the coffee grounds is like, it's like, oh, there's coffee in the bottom of my drink.
Yeah. Almost don't like it. I know what you mean by like couldn't drink a whole night of this, but it's
But it's so fascinating.
it's still very good. Yeah, I think it's interesting that you can pull that flavor out of a whiskey.
I really feel like this sat in just a barrel of beans.
Yeah, it kind of has like a coffee. But think about how bourbon and coffee are intertwined.
Yeah.
There are coffee notes in whiskey a lot. But this is just the most intense and narrowed coffee profile I've ever tasted.
Like I am actually legitimately surprised that this doesn't say like we barreled we put this in a barrel
coffee.
of coffee beans, and more so I'm a little freaked out because then what is that flavor?
Yeah, like I guess it's a yeast strain from what we know about that.
Yeah.
That is interacting with age and time and all that stuff.
We met a yeast man once, and he
you can
he like brought yeast samples. I always imagined him wearing like
a trench coat. He's got yeast on both sides.
But
making beer.
I'm fascinated by that world. That's for another episode at another time.
Yeah, the science of yeast it impacts whiskey in a huge way.
Yeah.
So I would see some of those flavors coming from that yeast.
Well, I gotta say, cool bottle. This somehow turned into a review program today. But cool bottle, modernity from some folks.
So Matchbook Distilling is in Greenport, New York.
In Long Island, New York, very close to the ocean. I imagine at some point they're going to say the sea air does something to the aging process, which is probably true.
It's true. I mean, that's what we learned about terroir is little things do affect it.
Yeah.
And that is true.
Yeah.
And it might be subtle, but it does.
Yeah.
It is part of the change.
Now, you did just use a word that I feel like some whiskey folks don't feel comfortable using.
Subtle?
No, terroir. Terroir. Which actually I think is even more appropriate in this case. Terroir is just like if something tastes like a place, essentially. But in this case, Long Island wine country, I'm sure that word is used quite often. And it makes total sense for this.
Maybe we can say provenance.
Some people say provenance. I think terroir is totally appropriate, and I think it's a great way to describe, especially craft. Like I said, every story of craft is a story of a place. And I think that's what's really wonderful about trying stuff, even if it's just for the way the bottle looks. Cool bottle. Glad your friend left it by accident or not. And I think it's a worthwhile thing to try always.
Yeah, keep exploring.
Yeah. When was the last time you felt like you were doing something bold with whiskey, like trying something bold?
It's right here.
Right now?
Right now.
Yeah.
I haven't really explored a ton. I went through a big period of trying to taste everything I could.
Yeah.
And then we did the documentary on rye whiskey.
Fire, Water, and Grain. The story of Empire Rye. This is not an Empire Rye, however, it is a New York bourbon.
Doing that was outside of my comfort zone because a lot of those craft distillers are doing really interesting things.
Yeah.
This was, exploring by proxy.
Yeah.
Someone who's just sort of, they see the wall of whiskey and they don't see the brands in the same way I do.
He wasn't reading the mash bill. He thought, that's cool. Alec's cool. Like in many ways, this design feels like Alec's clothing aesthetic. Not today, but feels like Alec's kind of clothing style. Cotton candy, sweatpants, little baby. And I think that it is, someone thought like Alec will dig this.
And I did.
That was the third beat from the light.
Yeah,
it's like getting the red light at a comedy club.
Yeah. We're
the Balas Brothers. This is the Whiskey Show. And as our great grandfather would say to his brothers, to drink
is to live.
Hey, we'll see you next time.